raspberry and custard pie for just $4.
Welcome back to the OPL, where Higgins has just destroyed Bryce's TFT
What did you do?
friend.
It's a little legend from TFT. You snapped his head off.
I thought it was like, I thought you were designing new tentacles for Alawi or something.
No. That's what that other one is.
Right.
That's a face. It goes like this.
Oh.
It's a little snaky dude.
And in my best Nick Boy impression, something that has nothing to do with TFT, but is all about Amateur League of Legends, is, of course, the OPL. It's been run with over 200 teams having taken part so far. We're going into our final couple of weeks, so sign up for your team's chance to be a part of this year's OPL Open Stage and win some RP. All the information's over on os.leagueoflegends.com. Hing,
Technically, can we do a team?
we could. And I
Three of
feel
us.
That
like
has been said every time.
Yeah.
Great
But
job settling in.
serious upgrade with
Yeah.
Hing over Nick Boy.
Thank you.
That
Thank
is
you.
very
I
true.
recently made it to silver and then was demoted back to bronze because my internet connection was not very good.
Okay, so you got the internet to blame. We interviewed Ayla, and I say we. I said Nick interviewed Ayla and asked for some advice, and he said, yeah, I've been watching you on MPL, and what you really need to do is just remember to use your abilities. Like, he was playing Veigar and was caging around people. He didn't get the side thing, but then he was like, at least when you cage them in, throw the rest of your buttons at them. You got to use them.
But you're a much better fit as well, because you're an 80 carry, man. You play a lot of
Oh.
80 carry.
Yep.
We've played 80 carry and support together, maybe too often.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
but
I've
it's
lost
good
you a
fun.
lot of LP.
Nah, you've gained me more LP than most. But an interesting game. And an interesting man on the couch in Calvin.
Oh, can I say, I've thought of a new thing as well for MEO, and you can have this for free. This is a segment you can have for free. We're going to cast a eye for the player guy, and you could sort of do sort of like makeovers for some of
That's
the, for some
actually
of the
brilliant.
players. I think it would actually go off. And you
Someone
could
needs
do
to
like,
write that down.
yeah, you could do like those montages where people walk out of a change room. They're like, it's a new hat. Yeah, do a bit of that. I think it'd be good.
I like it a lot.
Pick out
Yeah,
some
get to
clothes.
strut their stuff live on stage. Right, that's the reveal. Like, we have a crowd. We don't have a mirror and a camera guy. We have a live crowd with a catwalk
We
going
need a catwalk
in between.
at the arena.
I'm writing all this down.
As
I'll get it
opposed to
down.
dodging your job.
Oh, sorry.
Folding
Yes.
sheet needs to happen. Bryce, take me through that game. What happened?
It was interesting. It went one way very quickly, and then unfortunately they lost themselves a Baron buff, which has been the curse of this weekend, and stolen by not a jungler, stolen by an Olaf Axe. Chippy's desperately trying to cling the win there from AV, but yeah, that bottom side of the map went whoop whoop
And
real quick.
we've seen a couple of times now, Nautilus Kaiser picked into Zyra Khan. I was talking to Rusty. It seems like it should be a good matchup.
Yeah.
But Oceanic teams are just showing Zyra Khan wins it. What's the go there?
Hard to say. I think it's much easier to play Zyra Khan. You saw Destiny that game. Like, he just W's in, and it's like one of those things where Nautilus has to be like instantly react. You have to cancel one of his dashes to get back onto the Zyra, and the Rakan really is like the target. But it's easier from Zyra Rakan because the jungler from AV in that case on the Nautilus side has to be there to be able to punish. Karthus in that matchup, he just hits R button from literally anywhere on the map, and like he will influence the fight. And so Destiny just felt free enough, and of course like an early 2v2 just skews the matchup one way very quickly when it was even. But yeah, it's one of those things, you know what I mean? Like NA Jace, Ost GP, Ost Jace for a while, to be honest. But yeah, Ost Nautilus, maybe that's the new thing.
It certainly seems to be the case. Now, moving on, Pulse, one of our good friends, is trying to prepare a D&D one-shot. Pulse, what does your one-shot entail?
Well, it's my one. Well, I don't want to reveal it to my players who are literally in this room. But it was going to be
Nice try.
One shot. Yeah,
Give us an overall theme.
an overall theme.
What are we learning about? What's the message?
Which
at the
what's
end
the-
of
what's the
What's the
message?
message? What's the hot
It's
trash
difficult
at the
because,
end you're
like-
going to drop on us?
Which particular anime will you be basing this on?
Hey, Pulse, here's a question, but we're just going to talk over you the whole time. It's fine.
Yeah, if you could shut up, Pulse.
I don't know. It's difficult for me to say because I feel like if I say anything, it will give like the whole thing away.
Okay, cool. So
Oh.
that's going to make this next segment very hard for Hing.
Oh, no.
But Hing, you're a part of Dragon Friends.
Yes.
Very successful D&D group.
Yes.
Recently been over to Seattle.
Yeah.
You guys travel all around the world. You
Wizard
guys
the
do a
Coast of
podcast. Do you want to
Flying
keep?
Cross?
Yeah, you want to plug your stuff?
Oh, yeah. Well, so we do a little podcast and a live show called Dragon Friends. It's on Twitch as well, twitch.tv/Dragon Friends if you want to check it out. It's like a comedy podcast where we play D&D. And what started off 5 years ago, the joke was that we were a bunch of comedians who'd never played D&D before, but the DM had, and we would sort of frustrate him by not playing. And then over the
Friend
past,
of the show, obviously, David Harmon.
yeah, he's been on here before. And then over the past 5 years, we've sort of refused to learn the rules of this game, and we still are just basically sort of a friendly ribbing of him every week. But
And
it's
you
good.
play pretty much an embodiment of Twitch chat. You
Yes.
play a homeschooled warlock that is just an absolute...
A real
like,
psychopath.
yeah, psychopath filth character.
Yeah.
And you do a very successful job. I'm up to, I think, about season 3.5, season 4. You do a very successful job of completely derailing, I would say, at least 90% of scenarios that you're in.
Well, that's the fun of it, right? Because in Dungeons and Dragons, the dungeon master is trying to tell a story, but he or she has to do that, with while giving the players.
You have some freedom to react however you want
Exactly.
to. Yeah.
And so there might be a dragon who you're supposed to kill, but at the same time you could, for example, try and make friends with the dragon, then go kill the village with the dragon. You don't have to kill the dragon. You could join the dragon's team. There's no reason why you have to do that.
And Bryce, I believe,
Is
has
that why
never
you're called the
played
dragon?
D&D.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
You've never played D&D?
No, that's the thing that I was gonna say. Like, as someone who's never played, I knew nothing about it. It's really funny actually genuinely funny to listen to. And of course, because the whole premise was just you're all just funny idiot people, and you don't know how to play. That there's no barrier of entry.
It's very accessible.
Yeah.
Stop complimenting.
But
him. It's making me
going to
uncomfortable.
be? Were you going to be in Pulse's one? Do you think? Has he invited you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's the
wow.
plan.
So, what advice, as a veteran
Yes.
that knows that you can murder people to
Oh.
get temporary hit points on Warlock, what advice have you got for Bryce?
Okay. Here's something I've recently discovered, which is there are what they call commoners and characters, just sort of like everyday peasants and whatnot who are just
the
around.
plebs.
Right. Yeah.
We
Exactly.
call them the Great Unwashed on this show.
Yeah, and they in D&D are very low hit points. They're very low armor, but they still yield XP. Right?
Yeah,
So if
okay.
you can commit what I would probably be described as sort of war crimes, like by killing a lot of, again, fictional people who don't really exist, so it's fine, no one's actually getting hurt. But if you can sort of GTA your way through a town or whatever, for example, I'm not saying you should, obviously don't do that in, but in a fictional context where it's make-believe, so no one get offended, you can power up your character quite quickly.
The climate isn't really right for this.
Yes, right, okay.
No. But
fair.
the thing is, you're that guy that played early GTAs, early Morrowind,
Yes.
Elder Scrolls.
Yes.
And you killed the main quest givers and just screwed your save file.
Yeah, that's true.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's
mean,
you just can't progress the story
hard
because
stuck in many
everyone
RPGs.
relevant is
Yeah.
just dead.
Maybe that's why I haven't been progressing in League of Legends that well. It's because I've killed the main quest givers many years ago and have not been able to progress.
But now you've changed. So I only know Friezo, which is a homeschooled
Yes.
idiot.
Yes.
Are you a new character?
Well, if you keep watching, if you get to the end of season 4, I think something happens
Yeah.
to Friezo, and then
Oh, no.
so that character is now in our Twitch streams. Friezo is now in Twitch streams. So I'm playing a new character called Lion Shield Banknote, who's like
Lion Shield Banknote.
yeah. He's like a university student who never graduated, and he's an artificer, and he's sort of like just I can't do his voice. Is that all right?
Yeah.
He's got a. It's like, hello there. My name is Lion Shield Banknote. It's a pleasure to meet you. It's sort of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
He
sounds
wears a suit
very-
to uni.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
wears a
Yeah,
suit-
yeah.
He's the guy that
Yeah.
wore a suit
Well,
to uni.
Has a briefcase for some reason.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Sounds very similar to the guy that gives you all the quests in Dragon Friends, actually.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 4 voices, really. There's only 4 voices you can do before you start doing, vaguely racist impressions of people, and you're like, I don't think I should be doing that,
And heading into this game, this might actually be the banger of the night: Bombers versus Direwolves or Bombers versus Chiefs. Some would make the argument for. Quick tips. I'm putting you on the spot here.
I reckon, let's see. So, which game is coming up? This is Bombers
versus Direwolves. It's
I
on the
think
screen
Direwolves
in
were
the bottom
popping
left.
off last game. I think their jungler, this Korean import, Direwolves Raves, looks quite good.
And Ejim?
I'm going to go Bombers, I reckon. Last couple of weeks, they've solidified the weak point of the map in their bottom lane at the back end of this one, and solo laners look good. But I think it'll definitely be close. Both of these guys, for alternating people around the OPL, are like the dark horse that are going to make it. So yeah, this will be a good one.
Well, there is only one way to find out, and that is to throw over to the McDonald's champions. So, the longer this day goes, the worse I get. This is Pulse and Rusty.
Literally, we have the worst tosses and catches of anybody. Amazing. It definitely is. I feel like King is just the worst, influence on my players. My first time DMing, and now everyone's just going to be chaotic evil. Fantastic.
We weren't exactly the best the first time we played anyway.
That's fair.
So
chaotic neutral at best.
don't put Shoutcast in the same
thank
room
you.
to play a game of D&D is the lesson number 1 for everybody, as we are getting into Bombers and Direwolves champion select here. And it was mentioned that both teams have been considered a dark horse at one time. And for me, tips aside, who are you going for aside, I do think that this game's actually decided pretty heavily through the jungler and through the bottom lane matchups.
Yep.
Because right now, Katsuri consistently playing well. Like, he doesn't have to hard carry, but he is hard carrying when he gets the leads, right? And for the Bombers, Luch is playing mages again.
Yes, he is.
So they have actually
Pretty
found a
consistent.
really good strategy to integrate Luch's champions into the Bombers team compositions.
Yep, and we did get our Foldy sheet back. He was
Foldy
just
boy.
delivered it. Yeah, Foldy boy, smiley face. And yeah, of course, this game, both teams are locked in their respective positions at third and fourth. But this is definitely the warm-up game for the big game of the night.
Could well
this
be a
game.
gauntlet preview.
Yes, definitely could be. And yeah, we'll see what composition are going to come out from the teams, because we're at the point where you don't want to show anything new necessarily, but if you want to try something on the stage up against your opponents here, you know, it's a bit of on-stage scrim time.
Yeah,
so-
which is actually a really good point, because scrim practice and stage practice are entirely different things. You know, you get into the scrims, and there's a lot of games that are just considered scrim wins, where like at level 1, a game is over. So like half your games that week could actually just be level 1 stuff. And you're like, well,
Yeah.
God, like what did I learn besides level 1's a big deal, like for or against yourself. And there's also games that are just hard and loose, you know, like limit testing is a thing that's jokingly mentioned, but that's actually the platform to limit test in a scrim environment.
Yeah.
Whereas you get onto the stage and it's much more cerebral, much more slow. The pace is very different. The game is more decision-making tree-based, and you know, those types of environments are a different opportunity to test the theory that you had on a composition. You won't always see that, and I don't think this game you will, but that's a really good point to raise on, like, if we do, that's probably why.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you will hear teams being called, you know, this is a great scrim team. You know, like they smash their scrims and then they're just awful on stage, or vice versa, you know. Happens all the time. So, yeah, we'll see what the teams bring out today. Will be Renex and Corki and Northwest banned here by Bombers. Direwolves banning away Yumi, Akali, Azir, and first pick of the Aatrox for Bombers. And Yasuo, Gragas, same rotation first. Okay, so we actually just have straight up the top side of the map blocked in. Of course, we could see the Gragas go towards bottom lane, but likely going to be in the jungle here for Bombers.
And again, it's an interesting choice here. Direwolves, now they'll have to go for the Rakan and lock that one in. We'll have different roles completely secured. And this comes back to a point that we were raising earlier. Because the thing is, if you go for the Rakan there, Bombers can ban out the likes of the Gangplank. You know, they can ban out the solo laners that will do well into the Aatrox. Direwolves have noticed this, and this is a smart choice from them. They've said you can ban Rakan if you want. Like, that's not an important thing to us. What is important is the Xayah. And so we've gone for our priority champion. Now we're going to just pick a support that works, and you have to now spend your bans on that. And so this draft is actually really accentuated into where their priorities lie. Bombers, they've made it really hard for Direwolves. They made them make a tough choice, but Direwolves were smart with the choice that they've made, and balls back in the other court.
Silas, Xayah, and Gangplank here from the Direwolves. Yeah, Rakan, Tam Kench, just a flurry of support bans coming out here, joining Nautilus and Yumi on the bench here.
I would expect only the Tam Kench realistically banned in the support role from Direwolves. That is usually the enabler for the bottom lane, you know, the Victors, the Sonas that you could see from Luch. And they've actually opted towards a Cassiopeia ban here, once again away from Luch, which is one of his champions where if there isn't a Tam Kench, he'll play to kill lane instead. You know, they could do Cassiopeia Thresh, something they've done before, and could be a very powerful 2v2 potent lane. Not going to be seen. Nice bans from the Direwolves, honestly, in the second ban phase. I'm looking towards what they pick first, however. Regardless of the supports that are banned, you know, is it a support that they focus towards to pick as priority with the Xayah? Maybe to deny from their opponents. This, to me, very smart, because it denies a lot of the Gragas combo if he's standing in front. Just physically blocks the combo.
Yeah, straight up. Alistair, final support ban there as well. And yeah, we'll see what Luch will bring into the bottom lane. We've seen a couple mages actually come out from him, including the Vladimir, the Victor yesterday.
Yeah.
Alongside Rogue here. So we'll see what it'll be today, whether he sticks to mages or goes back to AD.
And you know, one thing worth noting here that Bombers have opted out of was they chose to ban the Alistar. So they very clearly have a strategy in mind, but you know, you've got the Alistar. You could play Alistar Yasuo bot lane if you wanted, and then just pick a different mid lane. You know, there's these possibilities available for Bombers, but instead, they've very clearly chosen to veer away from that idea. Luch just returns to his tried and true champion, and Rogue has innovated.
Yes, he has. Going for the pike here. And it will be alongside the Vladimir. So, yeah, but few more fangs there into the bottom lane for sure. Sedwani locked in for Direwolves going into the jungle. Late rotation on that one. And Slats will therefore go into the mid lane, likely Gangplank in the top lane. And then we have Brom Zaya in the bottom lane.
They're both compositions strong in different areas. Gangplank, one of those champions that we haven't often seen against the Aatrox, but has been banned a lot against it anyway, because you don't seem to want to see that matchup. And while that feels counterintuitive, we'll see how BioPanther plays it, because it is a tried and true matchup in practice environments and does tend to favor that Gangplank actually quite a bit. But you've got the Gragas Yasuo, you've got the combos there from Bombers. Their team fighting is going to be fantastic. They're very good at making sure that Mimic in down-tempo lanes or in counter matchups gets leads. They have a lot of strengths about themselves, and I'm always looking at Direwolves and saying, how do they play this out? You know, what can Raze achieve that really shifts the focus back in their favor?
It's actually really cool getting to see Bombers and Direwolves right now, you know, because a lot of different teams, there's different opinions on who is the better team between the two. Bombers and third, Direwolves now in fourth, right next to each other. So yeah, this will be an exciting matchup, regardless of standing implications. Yeah, will be a fun one to watch.
Certainly will be. All eyes on both of these teams, as it is the potential gauntlet playoff preview between the Bombers and Direwolves. Third and fourth place locked in teams. So a point to prove perhaps between both of them. Confidence to be built moving into the gauntlet.
Yeah, you would say so. And as we get into the game, we have Curtis joining us. And yeah, how are you doing? I mean, now locked into fourth place, you've made the playoffs, and win for the team, or how are the guys feeling?
Yeah, it feels really good. I mean, those last few weeks were getting a bit sketchy in terms of like the standings. It was very, very close. I think I said that last time as well when I was on. So it was a bit of a good relief to lock in that fourth place, like not only gauntlet but side selection for that best of 5. So yeah, really excited.
And you're a veteran of the OPL, Curtis. You've been around for years as a player and now a coach. And does it feel like to you this has been the closest OPL split you've ever seen? Because you did say that last week, and there was a chance you said it again this week. Like, it has just been that close.
Yeah, definitely. I think that there's never really been a time where I would say that every team in the gauntlet can take games off the top team. Like, straight away from, like, I mean, obviously bias. Like, I mean, it's not even bias. We beat Mammoth. And we've been very close games with Chiefs as well. So, yeah, every team can take games off the top team, which is awesome. I think it's great for the scene as well. I think in the past where OPL's only been like the top 2 dominant teams or even one dominant team when Chiefs were at their peak, I mean, it's a lot better for the scene. I think it's just good to share that talent around as well.
100%. I don't want to ramble about it either, but do you think that genuinely helps us on the international stage? Because it means that the talent locally is actually just better, so we might go there more prepared. There isn't just one dominant team.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, when we went internationally, that was probably one of the biggest things holding us back, was that we got back, or when Direwolves in 2017 were quite dominant, it was always like, oh, well, the game's played so differently, or we don't have that great practice partners. But now, I mean, even for the top teams, like if it's, you know, Chiefs, Mammoth this year, they've been pretty dominant across the board. And, you know, I would say, I mean, internally, I don't think they've been super dominant in scrims. I would say, like, I don't think this is, like, giving anything away. But, yeah, like, scrims not a complete stomp either way. So, I think it's interesting, and I think it is overall better for OS domestically and internationally.
For sure, yeah. And following that kind of train of thought, like, what was your opinion on Bombers right here? Because they're literally like the team next up in the pegging order right here. So, how far do you think Direwolves can take it in the gauntlet?
I think, like, yeah, riffing off what Fantix said as well in his last interview. I think we have come into fruition a bit. We've kind of found our identity per se. Bombers, I feel like they've been on form for ages now. I think they've been on form for the last at least few weeks.
Yeah,
3 or 4, 5 weeks.
Probably week 6 or 7.
And I'd say Bombers are actually a tough opponent. I think across the board, like Roma, super solid player. Mimic, super solid player. Their bot lane's really surprising. Plays niche picks all the time. And Wilder, again, a good addition for their team. So yeah, definitely someone you can't scoff at.
Oh, double body slam, first blood out there for the Sejuani. Get back, about to fall here. Wilder, last attack's not going to do it. Double kill starting off for your boys there.
Is this the first time we've had an interview with a coach where they've won the early skirmish?
Come on, boys.
It might be, yeah.
Usually it's bad luck. Usually, you know, I'm on here, something goes wrong, and then I go upstairs and something goes all right. So yeah, this is good.
Not bad. And yeah, my final question for you is, you know, we have Order and Avant going head-to-head. Ignore the fact that Rusty's here. Who do you think is going to take it?
You know, I would have said, like, a week or two ago, I would have said AV, definitely. But I think right now, AV are looking kind of shaky, and I think Order getting that confidence win over Chiefs yesterday, I would have to tip Chiefs to win. But it's not going to be a stomp, but I would say, yeah, I would say Order's going to win. Take it out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Sorry,
and,
Rusty.
I would say the expected answer, really, based off recency and performances on stage.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll catch you later.
We have had the early skirmish here in mid, and it did favour Direwolves this time as well. So
It did,
2-0
in a big
favour
way.
of them. And it's not just an early skirmish going to Direwolves. The recipient is a very big deal when you look at this team. And that is a 2-0 Sejuani. That's 2-0 Raze.
Yep.
Most importantly, the man who got the Penta in their first game of the night. He is a big deal when he's ahead. And so this lead can transition very effectively around the map, which is one of his biggest strengths.
For sure. And, you know, when you see this early, like, when you look at tank junglers, sometimes it's like, I wish it went on, like, the carry in the mid lane or, like, whatever the lane was. But Sejuani, with early kills, when she gets ahead, like, actually unkillable. This is one of those games where it might just be a 0-death Sejuani for the whole game who just has 3 tank items and just doesn't die.
That's possible. I will say that the composition of bombers is pretty well equipped to kill him anyway. Like a Yasuo with her ult on, like 50% armor penetration is a big deal. Vladimir is just a team fight killer. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a tank or a carry, he'll do enough damage. So, like, he can become a big deal and can run around massively. I don't think he would die in skirmishes, but that's pretty far away. Like, a tank getting tanky enough against a Yasuo is very far away in terms of items. So there's a world still where he does die and doesn't become that unkillable beast. What it does mean is that he's snowballed faster and can become unkillable quicker, especially with a level 6 spike. You know, he's going to be a very big deal.
Yeah, went back, picked up the completed, well, almost completed jungle.
That's
item,
an
has the
absurd
Barmies.
first shot. Like, that is an insane first shot. It's basically GG in the jungle, right? You can never meet 1v1.
There's mid lane though. Once again, Ryan will jump in. He's got a minion wave Griffin though, so it's a little bit awkward. We'll just hit the flail right there as the Yasuo is still walking forwards. And Rogue was up the top side, was spotted there. Actually lands the Bone Skewer onto Raze.
Oh.
Still throws out the ultimate, has level 6. There's got the Gangplank ultimate coming down as well. His Toro from the bottom lane. Wilder kind of walks on through as with the kill going over to the Silas there off of the Pike ult.
Yeah, they actually play very forwards here. Get Back has the reset on that Pike ultimate, so he is able to throw that one out again. That was very crazy to me if I was looking at that as a spectator. Like, they've just engaged on a Pike who has used nothing. Like, he hasn't even used his E-dash to get to safety. Like, he's just going to dash away. But it seems that by going onto him, they have moved Roma forwards. They baited him forwards. And note that the summoners were used already. No flash for that Yasuo from the early trade. So they get that instead, and, you know, like, it's an ultimate to force a fight, and that's what they were after.
Absolutely. This kill also going to the middle lane as well here. And yeah, it's got to feel good when Pike just turns up to the mid lane. You're level 6, he's level 4, and you just take his ultimate.
Yeah.
And this one's mine now. Yeah, 3 kills to start off this game for Direwolves. Big deal. And so they can snowball it. I don't think it's going to be quite as monstrous as you know, the leads we saw earlier today, but still definitely in the driver's seat. Another nice burn skewer there onto Totoro.
Yeah, Rogue's hitting the mark. He's a very good hook-based
Absolutely.
champion. He's originally one of the Thresh players, as most support mains in the OPL start out to be. So he's got his eye in early, and that's a very big deal, you know. I always say this, but it may just be my point of view, but first hook kind of dictates how you're going to play the rest of the game. So if you hit that first hook, your opponents respect you more. They're like, oh, he's going to hit this, so they start juking, and, you know, the mentality actually shifts in lanes, and then you feel more confident to just start throwing them out.
I mean, asking you as a previous pro support player, like, how similar does that feel? Because they're all technically, like, hooks, right? But, like, Pike is a charge, whereas, like, Blitzcrank is that you throw out, but there's, like, a small wind-up. Like, they're all slightly different feeling. Like, is it similar to you as a player?
Every hook is different, that's true, but the concept of the hook itself is still a line, long-distance skill shot, right? And I think the similarity still exists within that itself, you know? Like, Pike gets to step up charging his Q. Blitzcrank has to walk past the wave.
Yeah.
The Thresh just can do all of it, and really the similarities are still very much there in the skills themselves. You know, you can play Thresh, then you can play Pike. I don't think there's too much difference in the mechanics themselves.
Starting off this dragon here, Direwolves should be able to take this one pretty much with contest. So it will be a first mountain into air. Wilder is taking his camp right here. However, Raze is about to walk past him, out of vision, looking towards this mid lane. Get back. It's on him when he can land the stun here. Does connect it up against the tower. Good. Wind wall there. Blocks out the ultimate. Follows through to the last breath. That's one kill. Raze now going into the enemy jungle. Wilder just appearing from the Wraith Pit. Here comes Rogue. Lands the Bone Skewer in from the bottom lane, and that's a shutdown. A lot of gold going back over to the Bombers.
And that's a brilliant hook from Rogue because it moves the Sejuani closer to the Yasuo. Doesn't have to use summoners to get the kills by any means. Just stands and delivers. So well done. Good roam from the bot lane of Bombers. But that's the kind of play where if we see the replay, you'll notice that Direwolves overexert themselves into a wind wall.
Yeah.
I think it's just miscalculations on, you know, stun durations or whatever it may be, but they overreach. Bombers are very quick on the response to get the counter, and the counter's all too easy when you've got a Gragas Yasuo and your opponents have used everything at the start.
Yeah, I wasn't sure in the moment, but actually the Sejuani ultimate was blocked by the wind wall, and I think it was point blank, so you didn't even see the projectile.
Also, the stun duration of a chain, very small, right? So Ryoma tanks that instead of using his wind wall on the chain, where Raze could maybe outplay him. But they've just used the Sedge ultimate. They've also used Sejuani's stun passive, which is a skill shot. His bot lane is going pretty hard.
Yeah, Lucius is going to get some HP back from the Hemo play, but he's still very low. Still has the Sanguine Pool. Hits him with the Fissure on Rogue. He flashed away behind turret, but the rip back there from Katsuri will secure the kill into the Vladimir. Rogue needs to skedaddle back to this inner turret now. Raze on his way to the bottom lane, but will be able to now take the Krugs with that pressure in bot. Come on, mid lane. Get back has to take a lot of damage out there from Rome as well. But yeah, another kill over to the Direwolves.
And once again, so many more positives to be seen from this bottom lane of the Direwolves. It's not just consistent, it's consistently winning at this point in the OPL. And you're right, we look towards mid lane. It's a red buff for Ryoma with an item spike, so he's always going to have a decent amount of strength. But it is compared to a full proto belt purchase from Get Back, so realistically, both feeling comfortable. It's just that Yasuo able to trade more heavily with a red buff for the health regen.
Yeah, it's nice that kill did go back over to the Yasuo. Being 0-2 down for the Yasuo is definitely not ideal. Top lane though, Raze looking for another gank onto Mimic this time around, but Wilder is here with a counter gank. Already killed the top lane though, and Biopanther's just going to orange it off. So another kill to Direwolves. Raze getting so much done in this early game.
Yeah, they get the flash from Biopanther, and they do make him eat the oranges, but Raze is still the first one to the punch by a significant amount of time. Has so much damage just because he's ahead in levels. You know, in the jungle role, level 8 to level 9 of solo laners. Doing a lot of work. Rogue assumed that the oranges were there, and he's correct. Can't waste that ultimate. They're looking for the fight still.
Ryoma's in, dashes all the way through and out the backside. Raze is chasing down. Rogue just get that first kill. The rest of the team not really in kill range, and Ryoma will get another kill on the backside
Bombers
of that
will
one.
keep looking, surely.
They do manage to secure their Herald. Direwolves turn on this one. They really just want to get this Herald Eye, but Raze is so low, finally finished off. Ryoma gets executed, and now Get Back looking for his final kill onto Luch. This is disastrous here. Does go into the Sanguine Pool, does out the execute. Mimic in from base, who just came back from dying. Turns up the Katsuri, flash forwards, shutdown comes out. Now chasing on to Get Back, who's out of mana. Does have the flash, and Mimic tries to get in range. Shouldn't be able to pick this one up, but that was a hell of a messy fight around the Herald there.
Yeah, super chaotic fight from both teams. It looked like Rogue very early gets the reset, and then you just don't see him for the rest of the fight, and that's because the masses of Direwolves arrive. And a triple kill's the end result for Get Back on Sylas, now 4-1. Very big deal for this mid lane where both members getting a lot of gold. But that fight started from a Yasuo engage. The Herald's being hit, Yasuo dashes through everybody, and goes on to a Biopanther, and ends up being Bombers with all of the kills on the backside. As you can see it here. They get the first reset. Eyes are on Rogue from this point, while the rest of Direwolves going very aggressively forwards. But Totoro's dead, and Rogue has already got a kill. Katsuri's here, however, makes it impossible for Rogue, and this is that moment where suddenly Direwolves are able to get those resets, get those kills. Playing Pyke against Sylas, so dangerous, because he just takes your ult and always feels like a better version of you in a lot of these fights. And unfortunately for Luch, rooted in place from Katsuri before the puddle comes out. This is where Mimic comes in, tries to make the difference, does get the kill, but won't be able to get the follow-up.
The fight went on for so long. That was a gank top lane. The Aatrox respawns, doesn't have TP, runs top lane, and goes for the fight again. Ridiculous. And yeah, after all of that, after the dust has settled, initially, the Herald was taken down by Direwolves and secured, which is why they went in the first place. So now placed into the bottom lane, so they also had that after all of that happened.
Yeah.
Wilder is going to meet them here. Raze is actually chasing him down. Roma underneath this turret. He's try and kill Shelly before she gets too much damage done. Raze gets knocked into the fight by Wilder. He goes into a stopwatch. Totoro on his way to the bottom lane as well. That will be the Chains picking up the kill there from Get Back.
Someone's got to tank if they want to
out
dive.
the minion wave. Throws out the wind wall. Trying to block this one up, but there's a knock up into the last breath. Will claim that kill. Rogue canning around, see if he can help out his bottom laner, but not going to happen. Totoro takes all the damage, and we'll live to see another day, and bottom lane tower goes down.
Yeah, bot lane adder is dead. Dials turn the game up to 11. They just really turn on the accelerator. The gas has been hit. Raze knows how snowballed his mid laner is as well. And this is one of the things that Dials do exceptionally well, is they bring their mid lane into the play on the side lanes. Get back down there very early, able to get those kills. Katsuri's been assigned towards the mid lane as well. So they get the turret, they get more follow-up kills onto their opponents, and suddenly Dials 4,000 gold ahead.
Yeah, 4,000 gold ahead, and a lot of it in the mid lane. Yeah, that's a 3,000 gold advantage there to the Sylas.
Never feels good to be a Yasuo and to be behind. He is one of those champions that if he's ahead is just a serial pest to deal with because he can 1v1 anybody.
Yeah.
But when he's 3,000 gold behind, a Sylas will probably just stare him down and say, let's dance and fight him, and he'll most likely lose it. They also can't win the 2v2 because the Sejuani is 1,400 gold ahead and is very tanky. So we are at that breakpoint pulse where it's very hard to kill that Sej.
Yes, it is. And Get Back has found himself in the top side of the map here against Mimic. Duo lanes in the mid lane here. Down and Tides of Blood. Actually completely blocked there by the Unbreakable Shield. Wilder tosses out the ultimate, throws the Braum in. Hits him once again with a body slam. Does he have the rest of the damage? Well, with an ultimate, yes they will. Pyke gets that kill into the mid lane.
Yeah, they're able to get the kill for the Pyke. Wilder very low as well, however, and they did use a lot to make sure it was secured. But it's a nice little bait there as, hang on a second, Mimic.
Under attack. Here comes Raze as well, but I think Get Back's just got him straight up. Has the Aatrox ultimate as well.
So fed. Another one.
Right, actually getting caught out here by the Arctic Assault. He's just straight up dead right here. Get Back is on an absolute rampage. Wilder has to back away from his own blue buff. Here comes Luch. And Bombers have surrounded the area, but I'm not even sure that they can beat them. I think Get Back can just fight his way out of here. Bro gets caught once again by Raze. He's low HP, waiting on the Arctic Assault.
Can't quite catch him.
The flail. And we'll be able to get away from the play, but another 2 kills over to the Direwolves.
Yeah, scraping yourself to safety doesn't mean anything for the Bombers if they're not getting kills or trading across the map. They're losing their bottom lane turret at the same time. And this all starts from Mimic being 1v1'd by Get Back on his Sylas. Now 8-1. Just having an absolute blinder of a day is Get Back here. Loving life in the OPL.
Yeah. 8-1-3 game. Feels pretty good. 2.5 items off of a recall now as well, so will be another couple components you have to feel.
I would expect it. If he has enough money for boots and a Medjai's, this is a Medjai's game. You got 10 stacks on your Dark Seal. That Sealy boy could have 25 stacks.
Let's see.
The low price at 1,000 gold. But then you also you're really
thinking about it.
boots, you know? It's a hard choice.
He's still thinking about it.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time in base, hasn't he?
He's still thinking about it.
He's waiting for gold. I reckon he's waiting for gold.
For Zhonya's, wow.
Yeah, okay. He's that fed.
3 items.
Look at Yasuo, and then look at Get Back. Back to Yasuo.
And
This
I'll
could
get
be you.
Back to Get Back. Yeah, almost 10,000 gold. A 3-item mid lane at 17 minutes. This is gross.
I think people are going to press tab on the side of the Bombers, look at Sylas, and say, we make the play where he is not.
Yeah, indeed. And also keep the Pyke away from him while you're at that as well.
Well, yeah. He's also got a pocket Sejuani protecting him.
Yeah, yeah. There's actually a lot of nice ultimates to steal here.
Yeah, it's a really good game to be a Sylas.
It's
Even
a
the
good game to
Yasuo ultimate
reserve,
is
yeah.
really handy for skirmishing a Yasuo, like in a 1v1. Hit the chains, you follow it up, you extend your crowd control, which is really good for cooldown resets. So you throw the Q at the start of the trade, you'll have the Q after your ultimate. It's a big deal, actually.
So this Get Back jumps to the wall, hits the chains, stuns down to the Vladimir, finally gets the Sanguine Pool up, but the rest of the team in full retreat. Rayma flashes the wall. Direwolves seeing what more they can get. Mimic shows himself. And I'll try to cut out the rest of this wave, showing how much damage they can do in such a short amount of time. Kind of rotating around this mid lane, moving now into the bottom jungle. Wilder
where
looks
you off
towards
to,
his
bud?
red buff, but the whole team of Direwolves is there. He just gets cleaned up.
That red buff is not a safe space. There is no... Oh, Rogue very almost caught as well. There's no safe place in League of Legends in this game when Silas is near you. Bit much there from Wilder, honestly, as it's Lucha's turn to sprint away at a fast pace.
Get back's just so
It's
scary.
Rogue's turn to sprint away at a fast pace. It's Lucha's turn again.
He wanted to save his ally, but then again, do you really want to hit the hook? Get back, gets a free gap
I
close.
didn't think he'd come over the wall.
Yeah, hopefully pinned against it and not fall all the way over. But yeah, in the end, Direwolves do open up the mid lane. I'll take that. Now has a Hemo Blake.
Amplifies magic damage for his allies and himself during the time that he's going to burst, as well as being a massively fed champion. So it's the last thing you'd want to give him besides maybe a Pike ultimate. Even a Gragas ultimate, man.
Yeah, Gragas
Scales
also
so
nice,
much with
yeah.
AP, it one-hit people.
Yeah, that's the other thing, because it scales off of your own stats. That's the worst thing. Literally the other day I was playing Leona into it. It's like, wait a minute, why does he one-shot with my own ultimate?
Yeah, Braum's insane as well, right? Like this big AoE support ultimate that you'd look at and you're like, well, it's a knock-up, right?
Yeah, no one ever thinks about the damage of a Braum
And then it
ultimate.
does 800 damage and you're wildly confused.
Yeah, turns some ultimates pretty crazy, and he's now on his way to the top lane. From up the rest of this wave. What have we got in terms of objectives? Well, Baron's about to spawn actually in 3 seconds, so Get Back is going to be here in the area.
Double mountain.
Yeah, double mountain on Direwolves. I mean, this is a potentially very fast Baron take if they sneak under the noses of bombers. So we need to get out there and place that vision down now. Otherwise, if Direwolves just start it, they'll take it.
You'd expect a lot of priority here from Bombers. They have no real choice in the matter. They have to control the Baron in some section of their own jungle, if not the river. Right now, they actually have pretty good control. They've managed to sneak in some deeper wards. You can see where Wilder is standing. He's about to be spotted, however, so it seems like the players are fired.
Yeah, Raze
They want Get Back. They really want Get
in the middle
Back.
of 3 people and walks on out. Looks towards Wilder. Roma just get the knock-up off of the last breath. Has that penetration now, but he's caught in the middle of so many of those Direwolves members. The Catcher is able to walk forwards into Rogue. Kills his AD carry. And Luch now walks into the play and wishes he was no longer here. Flashes away out of the Sanguine pool. Gets the Q, Bone Skewer on to Get Back, but he's going to keep walking forwards and just 1v2 them underneath the tower. Double kill to Get Back.
There's 5 people on that team, and the one person they hook is Get Back, who was 8-1, now 10-1, as he just steps up to the plate and double kills Rogue before he could even flash away. Not the ideal hook target, but that's the ace basically against Bombers. Baron secured for Direwolves. And a monumental lead just builds out of a Bombers desperation fight.
Yeah, Kana just had to go for that one, but yeah, you go fishing and literally 2 times in a row, not the person you want to see.
Found an absolute shark.
Yep. Wilder kind of getting caught, but then raised in the middle of everyone, but he just doesn't die.
Yeah, Roma plays this as best he possibly can, but he knew he was going to die. Wilder's so squishy, he dies as well. And Luch does well to get the ultimate off onto all of them to then you know, be able to flash away and get the health back. And at this point, you're like, we're okay. We're not okay. We've made a big mistake. Get Back just clapbacks on both of them for that hook. Still has the Zonias, by the way, so he was never really at risk of dying. Good confidence play coming out of the mid laner of Direwolves. Respectful performance from him so far.
Sure, Bad Panther just gets pulled out in the river, though. Good Bone Skewer into the team, finished off by Pike. That's a really good pick off of that Baron.
Just taken to the pound house. That was ridiculous. Bombers. So many different brawly style champions are able to lock him down. The Pike ultimate was the only real major thing expended. They're still looking.
Trying to ride this momentum. Sejuani ultimate goes wide.
Silas is coming right away.
But Bombers, yeah, they see death approaching. And Get Back. He's a whiles away, but anyone who comes near him is just going to insta-die. So Bombers were feeling it for a second, but as soon as the Silas turns up, going to turn the other direction.
Hey, forcing a teleport, we chalked that one up as a victory. Both solo laners and Direwolves now no longer have that available. They engage the fight with Wilder body slamming over a wall without his ultimate as well, so not exactly the dream fight that they're after. And the net results actually not bad. Good side.
Not bad at all.
Cannot help myself.
Yes, it's a good one. Get Back pushing in himself in the top lane. Sejuani rotates, looking towards the mid lane though. Totoro is low, waiting on this this stopwatch. Flashes away, also flashes the cask. Wilder follows through with that one, but they've completely exposed the top side.
Yeah, Direwolves were sacrificing Totoro and he manages to survive, and now they're looking for top. Raze needs to be a little bit respectful. The game plan is play around, get back, and so the inhibitor will just drop as he is still very much healthy. Has a Pike ultimate.
It is.
I feel like he one-hits Pike with his own ultimate at this point.
More than likely, one would have to feel. That's second inhibitor about to fall here by Direwolves. Lands the Bone Skewer onto Raze again, not a burstable target. Still looking for the Bombers. Jumps in there, kills Totoro. Good start to the fight. Get back, pushes forward, but he's now chunked as well. Flank coming in from Rogue. Bone Skewer once again. Good block out from Raze. Katsuri toss up the Feather Storm. Now he's walking forwards. Emo playing. Good to deal some damage on the back end of this fight. Oh, the rip back detonates Rogue. And now turns one around once again. Get back with pretty much all of his HP. Now looking towards Mimic. Stunned down, shut down. And Bombers have actually pulled off a big defense here. Flash out from the E. This could be another kill onto Raze. He dodges out the way of the Arctic Assault. Biopanther 1v3. He's dead as well. Katsuri teleports back into the mid lane. Now 1 versus 3. Having a hard time catching up, and Bombers pull off a stellar defense.
Not enough HP from the Bombers to continue, but the team fight was exactly what they needed. It wasn't executed perfectly from their respective opponents here of the Direwolves, but look how close it was even in health bars to still winning that fight. That's how scary this game is. That's also how much class the Bombers have as individual players to be able to pull that out and get a team fight victory. 1,000 gold into the hands of Mimic. He'll be happy to have that. And it starts once again with these really odd engages from a Yasuo, almost like it is needed from him, right? Like dashes through minions, gets the 2 stacks on his Q, goes forwards as aggressively as he can, but just cops it, yet is still able to EQ and knock them up to get the ult. So that suppresses them for long enough. You know, get back at this point, pretty low. He's still able to exist in the fight, but it's really only around his E timings. And so he's able to find that. Luch has done good work during all of this time. Mimic still consistently hitting. And the second get back misses that Pike ultimate, doesn't get a reset. They overexert themselves, they overstay, and get back's W gets cancelled by a body slam, so he was never actually going to survive in that one. And then they follow up. They try and go forwards. Flash body slam from Wilder. Very good stuff here. And unfortunately from Biopanther, a little bit missed time. Doesn't get the trade.
Yeah, Direwolves, however, out of the replay, back to literally the same position they were. Back into this mid lane. Bottom lane slowly being pushed in as well by Biopanther. So playing the same game. So yes, we lose that one team fight, but that's the only loss we've really taken this game. Still 10,000 gold ahead here. And have the ability to push up and take the last inhibitor. Biopanther actually flashing away. Sees all Bombers coming down. Doesn't want to become that one person dying on the side lane.
Yeah, with a Predator Pike in Rogue with Mobies on him as well. He was going to be there in a heartbeat. So respectful play. But that is the one lane that they need to break. And right now they're too afraid of being able to go down there just yet. They want to corral supers into the base, which means they should be trying to time their minion waves as best they can. But right now, Gangplank cannot currently 1v1 that Aatrox. It requires extra. And once again, he's dead.
Yeah, opening up the fight in the mid lane instantaneously. Katsuri gets the kill onto Wilder, and actually just wiped the middle lane defense here from Bombers. Take down Rogue and Wilder. Now looking towards the top lane, just escorting these minions in. And maybe they don't even need this final win here. Maybe they just end the game. Roma and Mimic looking to try and defend underneath this tower. Here comes
Luch is coming
as well.
in as well.
He has Hemoplague and Flash. This is the time to put on the clutch. Now's the time to do it. Here's the Tides of Blood. A lot of damage onto that backline. Totoro low, but they've already deleted Ryoma. Luch backing away, the last man standing, Katsuri. And it's 2 versus 1. Get back.
There's another stopwatch.
It's a timeout. Turned around. Luch misses the Tides of Blood. Has the shield there, but get back very low. Pushing forwards. Doesn't have the flash either.
Luch cannot get him without the flash, but guess who can? It's the Speed Racer in Rogue. Hasn't got his ultimate, but if he hits the hook, it is on.
Bone Skewer goes wide. Unfortunately, still chasing though. Oh! And Katsuri just blows him up.
Good night, sweet cat enthusiast.
Rest in peace. Jesus. Wilder chasing after as well, seeing if he can get a sneaky kill on the backside of this. Baron has now spawned. At the very least, he will be able to get some deep wards here. But, if Pike had that ultimate, it would have been a very different story.
It was a single ground slap from Silas and an auto attack pull back with the feathers from Katsuri. It's a Pike's life, a very fragile champion. especially with Predator not running aftershock.
Yeah.
Hitting those hooks.
Even so, you don't really expect to be that squishy. That being said, it is an 815 Zaya currently who has 4 items. So
Yeah, look,
that'll
that is,
happen.
That is 21 collective kills between both of those members with 4 items apiece. And you're a longsword champion. So
Not bad. Wilder just gets 60%ed by his own ultimate.
That's a level 16 Silas too. So who's next on the order? Who can I steal an ult from next? Vladimir, throw it down, half health them.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, if there was any chance of Wilder getting in there and getting a steal, well, it's gone now.
It's gotta
Dallas have themselves another Baron.
Imagine just being Biopanther this weekend. You just put your hands in the air, you're just like, what an easy weekend. Just a weak side bloody Titan.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just
You know,
sit down
Biopamp has had a good couple of weeks this week has not been one of them, but hey, still securing 4th place.
I just sit in the side lane, I die, and my team wins.
It's a hell of a life. Checking out the bone skewer here on Totoro. Bombers, this is their last defense, the last bastion of hope before Zaya also finishes this one off here.
Haven't quite been able to get that tower until right now. The 3rd inhibitor now exposed as they're flashing in.
There's the ultimate. It's on to Wilder. He backs away. Hemo Plague on to Luch, and he also loses 40% of his HP from his own ultimate.
Very
Gets caught by the bone
aggressive.
skewer.
Still hunting. 3 inhibitors is the goal. A team fight victory is a nice addition to that. Bomber's desperate. They know they have to fight.
Yeah, Wilder throws it at Totoro with a great block off of that cask. Roma in the backline, seeing if he can get anything done, but he can't enter the fight right now. Meanwhile, Get Back is just looking to assassinate Wilder. He's dead. A Mimic chasing down onto Biopanther, jukes the wall and manages to survive the play. Rogue chasing down onto Biopanther as well, and Dial was just running circles around Bombers. And Rogue, the last remaining member, does have the execute out of Get Back, and that's 4 members dead here. And Dire Wolves, 4 plates against 3rd. It will take down Bombers.
Clean showing again from the Direwolves. Easy victory in the end. Individuals stepping up constantly, and it wasn't just the bottom lane this time. It was Get Back. Fantastic performance. Hard carry performance. And just a good hover from his jungler. Very much aware, Raze, that he doesn't need to be aggressive, get those pentakills. Not a big thing for them this game. Just do his job, fill his role, be the tank, and they'll get those victories in the end, and that's exactly what they find. Direwolves showing to the team that is above them in the standings that this gauntlet run is not going to be easy for any team.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams aren't going to be playing at 100%, but still, it's a good taste of what's to come. It's a good preview for us as viewers, and also, for Bombers and seeing what they're made of.
It's a case of, nothing revealed, nothing big shown, just a Pike playing down in the bottom lane, nothing fancy really coming out of them, but at the end of the day, it's still a good showing from Direwolves in what is a standard game of League of Legends, and showing that the term Dark Horse is very appropriate to them. But also, they're not just a dark horse if they continue to play with this form. They're more of a contender, really starting to push up towards the top rankings.
Yeah, and obviously you look towards the mid lane right there. Get Back, a heck of a performance. 8-1, I think, like at 17 minutes or something absurd. Triple items coming out before the 20-minute mark.
Nuts.
I mean, that's one of those games that just happens. I mean, those first 2 kills also went over to jungle. That went over to Sejuani, but it was that pressure in the 2 versus 2 that just kind of snowballed that one out of control.
It's the fact that Raze is one of the best players to have money in the game, because he can translate his lead around the map brilliantly, and he does utilize his mid laner to go to sides, make the big map plays, and it just happens that Get Back was the recipient of the early kills after the first skirmish, and that's really what snowballed the game through.
All right, that's going to do it from us. We are going to send it to a quick break before we get back to the analyst desk.
Really
in the middle of 3 people and walks on out, looks towards Wilder. Roma just get the knock-up off of the last breath as that penetration now, but he's caught in the middle of so many of those Dire Wolves members. The Catcher is able to walk forwards into Rogue, kills his AD carry. And Luch now walks into the play and wishes he was no longer here. Flashes away out of the Sanguine pool. Gets the Q, Bone Skewer on to get back, but he's going to keep walking forwards and just 1v2 them underneath it by Direwolves. Lands the Bone Skewer onto Raze again, not a burstable target. Still looking for the Bombers. Jumps in there, kills Totoro. Good start to the fight. Get back, pushes forward, but he's now chunked as well. Flank coming in from Rogue. Bone Skewer once again. Good block out from Raze. Katsuri shots up the Better Storm. Now he's walking forwards. Emo playing. Good to deal some damage on the back end of this fight. Oh, the rip back detonates Rogue. And now turns one around once again. Get back with pretty much all of his HP. Now looking towards Mimic. Stunned down, shut down.
Desperate, they know they have to fight.
Yeah, Wilder throws it out for Totoro with a great block off of that cast. Chroma in the backline, seeing if he can get anything done, but he can't enter the fight right now. Meanwhile, Get Back is just looking to assassinate Wilder. He's dead. And Mimic chasing down onto Biopanther, jukes the wall and manages to survive the play. Rogue chasing down onto Biopanther as well, and Dire was just running circles around Bombers. And Rogue, the last remaining member, does have the execute out of Get Back, and that's four members dead here, and Direwolves, 4 plates against third, will take down Bombers.
Clinch.
A little goes a long way at Macca's. Enjoy a delicious small cheeseburger meal with your choice of an apple or raspberry and custard pie for just $4.
Welcome back to the OPL. We just saw Direwolves absolutely style